Where we are now in terms of biodiversity and nature loss, we are not in a good place.
We're still not stopping the destruction of nature.
Each species going extinct is like losing a whole sonnet by Shakespeare.
We are running out of time.
Building professionals have a huge role to play here because they're so directly related to the use of land. But they can do more.
Transforming the whole built environment community, the way we think, the way we plan, the way we conceive projects.
To really support humanity and nature at the same time, I can't believe anyone would not want to embrace that great challenge.
Frankly, the future is in their hands.
It's about co-designing and truly collaborating across sectors, across geographies.
This is about delivering for all parts of the environment.
What often happens during construction is there is biodiversity loss. While that activity is going on, there's a gap between what was there before, if there was anything, and what comes after as the landscape scheme. So what we're trying to do is plug that gap.
What is unique about the vertical meadow approach really is that it grows from seed. And so we've got native UK wildflower seeds on the wall, and all of those seeds are germinating and they're kind of firing out shoots. And that's really what supports the biodiversity, is this kind of rich, dense, complex meadow system.
Development sites can often impact important habitats for species like the great crested newt. Although widespread, the species has been declining significantly for the last 50 years or more. So now NatureSpace works with developers like Bloor Homes to streamline the process, saving time and money for developers, and in doing so, delivering better outcomes for wildlife. Using latest available technology, we've modelled and mapped the entire country to provide risk maps for newts.
Over the past 4 years at Morgan Sindall, we've been developing our 4-year programme of R&D titled the Sustainability Twins. And this is an industry-leading theoretical twinning concept where we remodel an existing school which we've already delivered. This challenges traditional procurement because we put other drivers at the forefront of design, such as carbon or nature, instead of capital expenditure.
The big challenge facing us is, on the one hand, climate change, and on the other hand, still the need for new construction and infrastructure, particularly in developing countries. The new cement type we've developed over the last 10-15 years, called LC3, shows that you can produce cement with like 40% less emissions from widely available raw materials, and you can do this more cheaply. Many people think, oh, well, we could solve this problem if we go back to nature, we build everything from trees or other biomaterials. But for the scales we're talking about and forestry practices around the world, this is really backfiring. If we wanted to replace just 1/4 of concrete by timber, this would imply to plant new forest 1.5 times the size of India.
It's no longer enough just to build with concrete, steel and bricks. We have to build with the whole environment.
When Atkins-Realis first started working with the project, biodiversity game was a really new thing in the field of environment. East West Rail Phase 2 was the first scheme to make that commitment of 10% on such a scale. Healthy, resilient ecosystems provide a host of benefits, including carbon storage, flood resilience and habitats for pollinators.
Working with Atkins-Realis has given us access to national and international experts in biodiversity, and that's really helped to support us as we work to manage our estate, but also achieve those biodiversity net gain targets.
Ibstock's taking some incredible initiatives as part of all of our developments that we do, whether it be a new brick factory or a new quarry site. We're considering all of the environmental impacts associated with that development. When we start our quarrying activities, we've generally got agricultural land or grassland areas, and what we do is we look at that habitat at the beginning and try and improve upon that in our restoration scheme. Overall, we want to improve the biodiversity of that habitat pre and post development.
We work together with Heidelberg Materials to turn this land use change of a quarry into something positive for biodiversity by taking the right measures to create temporary habitats and permanent habitats for different species. If we're talking about a sustainable construction sector and green building, then it's really here where we need to start at the beginning of the supply chain, where the raw material is extracted.
Very often you see this green algae or blue algae that's in the water. Any creatures in that insects that live in that water environment, it's a situation where they just don't receive oxygen and they will die. We believe here at Marsh we've probably got the most innovative idea of reducing the phosphate and nitrate levels, and we know that will have an amazing effect on the final discharge of our sewage treatment plants.
Where we are now in terms of biodiversity and nature loss?
There is still time to make a difference.
There's a window of opportunity.
We can restore nature.
Together, we have the opportunity to redefine the nature of building, creating a built environment that addresses the twin emergencies of biodiversity loss and climate change, and in doing so, construct a better, greener world for us all.